Alright, what's up guys? We're back with another Path of Exile video here, and I'm gonna do just a full breakdown of my current build that I have so far. Haven't really had much of a chance to play since the last video I uploaded, but I am gonna do just kind of a breakdown of where the build is at, where it's headed. First off, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, I really appreciate it. It helps me out. I just hit 1,000 subs today, so I'm really excited. I appreciate everyone that has subscribed so far. So with that out of the way, let's kind of take a look at the build and some of the things that I'm trying out. I added in the phase run because I was seeing a lot of comments about, oh, the build, you move too slow. Yeah, I mean, a little bit faster now, so hopefully that will help with some of the complaints. That was the more frequent complaint I was noticing. But all jokes aside, so let's take a look here at what I am doing. So this build obviously has a ton of elemental damage, and so I wanted to see how could I fully take advantage of that and then just push the build even farther in terms of damage, and then adding in a different damage type, so getting some chaos damage. So just kind of browsing different possibilities, I came across Incandescent Heart, and I really think that for this build it's going to be very, very strong. And so I almost like changed what I was doing to kind of build around this and try and fully take advantage of this unique item that a lot of times I think is kind of overlooked, or I've always overlooked it. It just has a lot of weird stats that don't really seem like they synergize, but I think this build will be able to really utilize all of it. So my build is a hybrid life and energy shield build, and this gives you plus to max life and a somewhat decent amount. You get attack damage leached as life, which I don't really attack that much, but this Martyr of Innocence does give you the Vengeance skill. So if I am in melee range and that activates and I hit something, the life steal, I will be able to at least take advantage of that in some situations. The gain 19% of up to 20 would be a perfect roll. 20% of elemental damage as extra chaos damage. So right now this is my tooltip DPS, so without this item it's 141.5k, and then you throw that on there and it goes up another 26k almost DPS, and that's coming from chaos damage. So I haven't really decided what I'll do as a 6-link, but essentially I'm scaling quite a bit of chaos damage off of just all of my pure huge amount of elemental damage that I'm doing. So just that added damage type, it's gonna make me just kill bosses and elemental resistant mobs that much faster. And then taking 25% of elemental damage from hits as chaos, what that's going to allow me to do is I'm really pumping up my chaos resist. I have some gear that I just need a couple levels to equip, and I'm going to try and get max chaos resist, or above 50, and I think I shouldn't really have an issue doing that. In terms of gear, just to kind of explain how this works, so this staff having the Battle Mage keyword on it, what that does is that all of the weapon damage from the spell is applied to Firestorm of Meteor, and Meteor has a 370% effective added damage. So this Battle Mage and the weapon damage getting added into Firestorm is just a huge DPS boost, or increase to the damage. Paired with this, it's just a lot of damage. And then the other gear, really, as far as uniques goes, I've got a Series Foible and Dream Fragments. What that allows me to do is I am taking advantage of just my increasing my maximum mana, increases my energy shield pool. It also increases my total damage. So that's what these two uniques are all about. Dream Fragments, any build that can utilize that, it's great to be immune to chill and frozen. Those are two of the more annoying status effects for a lot of characters. So just having immunity to it and getting to take full advantage of those stats is very, very helpful to this build. The Series Foible also makes it a little bit less requirements for some of these gems that do take a lot of dex, so I don't have to really invest too much into dexterity. And what I've been able to do is get this pretty solid rare ring. So the added cold and lightning damage, that does affect my spells, so just more elemental damage, but this ring is giving me a ton of fire and lightning resist, and just about pretty much all the dexterity I need. So I had a few other items with dex. I can remove these now, and potentially if I level, I'll have to double check that when these get to level 20, if I need just a couple more points of dexterity, I can figure that out. Hopefully that is, I think this is the highest dex requirement that I have, is the added cold. And the level 20 dexterity requirement goes up by 5 to 111. So I have, let's see, without this and this, I have 81 dexterity. And let's pull out the old trusty calculator. So 111 times 0.75 is 83.25, so I am just like 2 dex short. So potentially I could pick that up in the skill tree. I don't really know where I would pick it up though. But anyways, I'll figure that out at a later date. Really I really don't want to pick it up, just like I don't want to waste a skill point on it, because I am pretty much very stretched thin in terms of what I want on the passive tree. So let's go ahead and take a look at the passive tree now that we've kind of taken a look at the gear. So it'll take me a while to get this to level 20, and by then hopefully I'll have figured out how to overcome that like 2 or 3 points in dexterity. Unfortunately, there's like not really anything I see that would be an easy solution, but anyways, so there was also a few other comments on my last video just about the penetration and how penetration increases your damage, which I'm well aware of that. But what I've tried on this build is using this elemental mastery to have 25% of your hits treat the enemy monster resists as inverted. And my understanding for how that works is, let's say they have 50% fire resist, so 25% of the time they're going to get treated as having negative 50 fire resist. And all of the looking into this mastery that I was able to find on the actual mechanics of it, because I assumed that pairing that with curses and penetration would increase the damage, but all the information I found was to the contrary. So that basically, getting curses to lower resist and having penetration almost makes this mastery less effective, or that's what it does, is it makes it less effective. So like if I lower their resists to 30 and then penetrate to 10, basically it was saying that, from what I was seeing, is that that's going to treat it as if they had like -10 instead of -50. So anyways, what that's going to allow me to do is, instead of having to worry about picking up penetration either through passive tree or gear or support gems, I'll just get even more damage. And what I'm thinking of doing is, boosting the chaos damage even more, just because like I'll have basically I have every damage type on this. Even though there's not a lot of physical, there's a little bit of physical. But I mean, I have chaos, physical, fire, lightning, and cold damage. So, most monsters aren't highly resistant to all of those damage types. And then every 4 hits, I'm going to invert their resists. And then I have very high critical strike chance. I have freeze, shock, and ignite. I just don't really see like getting much benefit from running penetration. But yeah, so this is the passive tree. That's kind of the build. I did take mind over matter, and how that's going to work with Incandescent Heart is the 25% of the elemental damage that I take from hits as chaos damage. So that will go into my life pool, but then my life pool will also be protected by my mana. So it's going to soften those blows, and then it's going to just be like, I think, a really nice kind of split of damage that I'm taking between life, energy shield, and mana. I also plan to probably try and work in like Veil Discipline, and then it's just going to be more of an active defensive playstyle between Veil, Discipline, and I'm thinking of maybe putting that on like a one of like that Blessing passive that, or support skill that allows you to temporarily cast, an aura. And so I could use that to, just give myself like a big heal, like a big ES boost for 9 or 10 seconds. Like if my ES drops quickly, I could pop like the Discipline and the Veil Discipline, just get a quick like refill on my energy shield, and then that should kind of cover me in between Steel Skin. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. We're gonna go ahead and hop into a map. I've not been in mapping too long, so I am still like I'm not doing anything like crazy by any means, but you can at least get kind of an idea of how the build is functioning. This is actually the first run I've done with Incandescent Heart equipped, because I just picked up this ring to kind of like get my resists back to where they need to be. But yeah, I mean, I think
We found the temple. Every incursion needs proper preparations. Let's go.
so. Yeah, I mean, I am like over leveled for this content, so like this is nothing like too crazy. But yeah, once I get my once I get my resists significantly higher for chaos, it's gonna feel much more, I think, tanky. I'm also increasing my block, so I'm gonna have like quite a lot of spell block, as well as just physical block. The other thing I was thinking, as far as like if I get a 6 link, either, you know, am I gonna go with like increased crits? Am I gonna go concentrated effect? Am I gonna go spell cascade? That was a recommendation. I haven't really decided. Not really sure when I'll be able to get a 6 link. Right now, like my damage isn't really a problem. It's more just getting like my survivability in line for the content, because like the damage is just, you know, very strong. But yeah, so far, like the way this feels in terms of like spreading the damage between the mana and the energy shield and the health, it's feeling pretty good. I already feel more tanky than I did before I equipped the incandescent heart. So far so good. And then also just it's, you know, a very big damage increase. So once I have the chaos resist a lot higher, it's going to feel even more tanky. Yeah, I'm very happy with how this build is going so far.
Time to go.
One thing I am curious is if you guys would drop this down in the comments, like when you play. This is the first time I've really tried, because typically when I play in a hardcore league, it's much easier to find gear that is worth, you know, a couple chaos, because you get, you know, some decent defensive stats, and you can usually sell that for a couple chaos. So I would identify pretty much everything and then do that chaos recipe. Oh, and one other thing I was looking at trying is this mastery here. Recover 2% of life and energy shield when you block attack or spell damage. I was thinking of picking that up just because I think it will provide some regen. I don't know if it's going to be worth it though. Another thing I was looking at is if I come over here and pick this up, one of these is recover. So this would give me 50 energy shield when you block spell damage. And then this one here would just give me 20 life and mana when I block. So those I think also could possibly be decent. But yeah, I'm still, now that I'm in the end game, I am playing a little bit more cautiously. Just because I don't like to die and lose like tons of XP. And, you know, I am getting a little more squishy.
Good job, Exo. You've made space.
I am no beast of burden.
Greetings. Go with courage.
I must have time to gather my will.
As far as like the Atlas passives that I am looking at, picking up just like the early kind of map sustain ones. So I do like to get Alva, and then that gives you pretty good, like you do a lot of Alva missions. That does give you pretty good map sustain in the early stages. But yeah, you just saw there like the Vengeance proct. Let me see if I can tank a little bit and just let like you can see Vengeance is just like doing some work. So I think if I do like get tanky enough to where I can, you know, just run through and blast stuff, the clear speed is going to be really good, because if I can face tank, which I'm actually surprised at how well I was just tanking that stuff. Oh! Damn it. I couldn't even see what I couldn't even see what happened because there were so many items there. That was just kind of silly.
Greetings. Farewell.
Yeah, that was so many items. I think it must have had that like after death effect with the lightning, that just like zaps the absolute crap out of you. Yeah, I don't know what man, that thing just dropped like so much stuff. That that's got a 27% quality, 29, 20. All right. Okay, 24, 23. Okay. Interesting.
Must have time to gather my will.
But yeah, right now I still have negative 52 chaos resist. So you can imagine once I get my chaos resist to like a respectable amount, this is going to be, I think, very tanky. And then if I pump up my mana further, it's going to give me increased energy shield.
There you are. Ready to
I'm going to try and get to a total of like,
The more you kill, the more you change your
ideally I would like to have at least like 4k,
the temple in the
3 to 4k energy shield. I'm not sure if that's realistic.
Let's have a look at the layout. Time to go.
Of course, it gives me the Stone of Passage way over here. I can't make it.
Good job, Exile.
Is that the boss? Let's see. Map complete. Oh, there's still more than 50 monsters. Alright. So yeah, this is the route I am taking. So I'll go this way up here. Up here. Pick up Shape the Skies. Then we'll teleport over here. We'll grab Shaping the Mountains. And then we're going to come back up this way. Once I get further into this, I'll do like another update on it. But you know, pick up these, this one, the Veil Flesh Merchant, and then this one is decent, but there's one I thought that, the Veil Flesh Merchant just has like really good drops. I think it like always drops currency items, so it's definitely worth grabbing that. And then when you do your Alva missions, I mean, it's just a ton of extra monsters to kill in a tightly knit area. So yeah, once this is tankier, I will be able to just like fly through these maps about as fast as I can run. Which, now that we've got phase run with like increased duration, you know, I mean, hopefully that's like considered a decent move speed. I don't know what more I could do to like get it up beyond that, unless I like run haste aura. And where's these other 14 monsters? I mean, I guess that's gonna be the video, guys. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. I do appreciate, you know, the feedback that I get on the build, because you know, it is something that it's a work in progress, and I'm, you know, not all knowing when it comes to Path of Exile, even though I've been playing it for, you know, a decade since it was in beta. I did take a break, so there's new things that have been added to the game since I really played last. But yeah, I'm also looking at getting these if I need to, just for this extra 30 chaos resist. But last few things I'm looking at putting my points into. Definitely gonna pick these up, get all that crit. A lot of crit, a lot of multiplier, and then we're gonna pick these up for a little more defenses and more crit. I'd thought about possibly trying. Where is that? This one, glancing blows. Just because it would be, you know, like a third. I mean, the only thing I can't decide is like you're gonna double your block. So, I mean, I'd have probably about a 60 to 70% block. I forget what the base cap is, if it's 75 or I think it's 75. But I'd have in the mid to high 60s, low 70s block chance for spell and attack damage. But then I would take 2/3 of the damage, but it would be pretty, solid mitigation, because usually what kills you in PoE is like the damage spikes, not so much the
Hello.
yeah, I am going to identify some of these like high quality ones just out of curiosity more than anything. And really they're still all like not that good. But yeah, so looking at picking up those staff nodes, possibly these here. Also considering getting these, more mana and energy shield, possibly getting, you know, regen mana shield there, or I mean regen, yeah, energy shield. Also considering getting 10% of armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits, just because that's going to further mitigate like the elemental damage that I'm absorbing. So I mean, I do think that that's really going to like take off some of the like spikiness of elemental damage, because I'm going to be able to heavily mitigate that, I think, through the mind over matter, as well as if I were to take 10% of armor applies to chaos damage from hits, because that's really going to mitigate that further, because they're not going to be big hits. So just some those were kind of those defensive options I was talking about yesterday in that or the other day in that last video. So I haven't really got a chance to fully implement them, but that's what's coming down the line. So, be sure to hit that subscribe button to kind of check out the build in its next phase. I do have like a week off from work coming up here, starting after tomorrow, so I should be able to really push this build into its final form in this next week. So we will end the video here, guys. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and remember to give them